Hey, welcome back to Got Fuel's Model Car Garage. So, this is just going to be an update on, I guess it's been about a year since I bought my Pace airbrush booth. I have the Peacekeeper 24-inch Super Mini. Or I should say the Peacekeeper 24-inch Super Mini. The one with the light. I'm doing this video in response. I had a modeler reach out to me, which I'm sure most of y'all know, and if not, I'll put a link in the description. Mile High Sky Modeler reached out to me, and he asked me to do this 1-year update video, and he asked me some questions that he wanted me to answer. And first of all, he wants to know, how well is it held up? Lighting, fan, metal, easy to clean, and over again, any issues? Absolutely no issues. Same bulbs I've had in it since day one. Now I do plan on taking out the light bulbs. These are LED daylight colored light bulbs, so they're nice bright white light bulbs. I want to put in, there's a plug you can buy that screws into a standard light bulb socket, and you can plug in an AC outlet and put some LED strip lighting all throughout the inside. That's what I would like to do. So I mean, I've had no problems with anything. The fan's got a 5-year warranty. The booth itself has a 1-year warranty, so I'm beyond that. Is it easy to clean? You know, the first time I used it, I did. It's stainless steel. I didn't put down a piece of newspaper. I tape it down on the edge and tuck it underneath. And yeah, I mean, it's stainless steel. It cleaned up relatively easy with some lacquer thinner. But I figured, why am I going to do that? I'll just tape some newspaper down. After each model, I replace my newspaper, and I'm done. You know, no more to worry, no more cleaning to worry about. The only part you have to clean up is back in the very bottom edge, and I'll break out the little handheld vacuum cleaner, extend it out, suck it out, and I'm done. It is a little pain to get down in there, but you know, no big deal. All right, how often do I replace my air filter? Okay, so right now I'm working on the Revell 69 Camaro. I painted everything, done all my priming and everything through an airbrush. And this is my filter. So as you can see, because of your angle that you're spraying, it goes down into the bottom more and gets collected at the bottom pleats. So my next model, I'll flip it over. So I get about 2 models, and every bit of this model has been painted right here in this airbrush booth. So then, you know, I could probably get another model out of it. I know, you know, so I can probably get another full model out of it. So you know, 2 models at most, and you probably can do 3. But I mean, it doesn't. You know, it is what it is. I get my filters for it through Airbrush Direct. Let me get a clean one here because I want to do a comparison in a minute. And they have the pleats here on both sides. I just cut the front side out so I can get the full use of the pleat instead of where the lattice work is at, where I wouldn't be getting any use out of the filter. I still want to try to figure out a way to use these with that airbrush booth media I have in bulk. How well does it remove the fumes, lacquers, enamels? 2K. Can you smell the fumes while the booth is running after you've taken off your respirator? Now, what I generally do when I get through spraying, be it enamels, lacquers, 2K clear, I generally reach up as soon as I'm done spraying. I flip off my fan, and then I reach back and I pull my respirator off. I've never smelt anything. You know, when I'm doing a small project, you know, just like seats real quick or exhaust with alclad lacquers or something like that, I don't generally put on my respirator. Yes, I know I should, but I don't. The first spray, you know, just my test spray, I might get a quick little whiff, but after that, boom, it's gone. No, I hardly ever get any kind of fume. You will see, like any other airbrush, when your filter starts to get clogged, you'll start to see a plume. But as soon as you quit spraying, that plume is sucked right in and gone. I've had no problems with this booth here. The sides are cut down instead of coming. I wish, that's one thing I do wish he would have brought the sides straight down. For some reason he cut them back at an angle. And I've had no problems with like my hose here. You know, there's no overspray on it at all. The same with the other side. I've never felt any overspray on anything. Would you still have gotten the 24 Mini Plus instead after having the Super Mini they sent by mistake? Yes, I would have still preferred the one that I ordered. It's got the same fan in it. My biggest issue with this one, no, wasn't so much the height. It's the exhaust. How you have to route the exhaust straight up. And you have to have that first initial straight 12 to 18 inch straight run off the top of it in order to reduce your turbulence. You'll have, if you try to put an elbow in right off the get-go, you'll have too much turbulence and the air will be pushing back down and you won't get as good as an airflow out of the booth. And he also recommends that with his the standard 24 inch mini, but it comes off the top. Go back up. Let's go back up. Your exhaust fan is sitting directly on top. You have to bolt it down, and so the exhaust for it points directly out at a 90 degree, so you can go straight and then make a run down and out your window. Much easier. Would have been much cleaner to be able to, you know, to have that versus what I have. And let's see. Do you feel more openness of the Super Mini, especially not having much side depth for painting? Is an issue with dust and crap getting on your paint job compared to the more closed-in Mini that you actually purchased? No, I don't feel like that's giving me any issue. Those cheap Chinese airbrush booths that I originally had were pretty much the same height. The height from the desk up, they're just wider, and my model sat in about the same spot. I mean, normally when I'm painting, and this filter has not been 1-0 issue one bit at all, which did concern me. You know, I can get the model way down in here, so it's about 4 inches deep on the stand and it's still not touching. But I'm generally out here, out in this area. I got about 6 inches, 5 to 6 inches of depth right here, and I'm painting, you know, right about here in this area. And as y'all saw, if you go back and look at my how-to MCWs, you can literally see the spray coming off my airbrush, and it's going straight in. There's no plume at all, especially with a fresh filter. Nothing. And there's actually up here, this is actually hanging over, if you come straight down, your workspace, whereas the other one from your base, it's angled back away. So I'm actually having more cover over my model with this particular model. He says, does the lower height of the filter cause you to have any issues with system pulling the fumes from the air while you're painting, as your model is at the upper portion of the filter? No, I'm you know, like I said, the model is right there is 4 to 6 inches off the bottom, the front and the bottom shelf, and it's not touching. I can spin it all the way around. It's close, but I'm normally out here anyways. And you know, when I got this airbrush booth, I contacted the guy and let him know I got the wrong one, and you know that the lower angle of the filter was my concern with hitting the model, and that's why I've made sure and got this one pushed back as far as I could. He told me that this airbrush booth was designed to catch 90% or more of the overspray from painting 6 inches away from the bottom shelf. So I can bring my model, so right here it's on the bottom shelf. I could have it up here that close to the camera and not have any issues with overspray. Almost every bit of it is going through the filter. So let me do, y'all know I vape, so this is, I'm gonna hopefully show you a plume. This filter's reached about half of its useful cycle. Y'all saw that. I want to show you how well it still pulls. So no painting you're going to do is going to give you that much of a plume, and you can see it's gone. So, and that's about half the life out of that filter. About half, not quite. So let's put a fresh filter in. Only thing I haven't done is remove the pleats. There's virtually no difference. You know, once you'll know when the filter needs to be replaced. You'll see more of a plume rotating around. And I could not more highly recommend one of these airbrush booths. Those cheap Chinese airbrush booths, I wouldn't even recommend you get started with one, especially if you're going to be using enamels, lacquers, and 2K. Largely because these are blower type fans in these airbrush booths that he uses. It's the same type of fan literally that you would have in an AC heating system. The motor, the electrical part, is separate from the squirrel cage, and it doesn't get any fumes, whereas the fans that are used in those cheap Chinese airbrush booths, you have a fan, okay, and then right in the center is the motor, and your brushings are exposed to the electricity. So your fan is about that big, and then right in the center is the motor. And I was using, at one time I was cleaning out my airbrush, spraying some lacquer thinner through it, and I heard that obvious electrical shock. And ever since then, that it never really pulled well anymore. Now, if you're going to be spraying largely acrylics, especially true water-based acrylics, I'm not talking about Tamiya acrylics, those are alcohol-based acrylics, I still would not recommend a cheap Chinese airbrush booth. He's gone up in his prices with these airbrush booths. So if you are considering, I would highly recommend that you get one ASAP. You know, the whole, everything has gone up. So the 24-inch Mini Plus, which is the one without the light, it actually has the fan sitting on top of the unit. Right now it is $347. Those used to go for $275. That's what I paid for this one, because he goofed and sent me the Peacekeeper, which is this one, the Super Mini. And he told me to keep it. He would lose more money. If I didn't like it, then he would exchange it. And I've liked it. I haven't had any issues with it. It works great. It's a great airbrush booth. My only problem is how I have to route my exhaust. And he's gone way up on his great big deluxe. I think those used to go for about $650, and they're now $785. The Mini, let's see, the one I have right here is right now is $455. I think he was selling those for $350, I believe, because the original price of the Mini Plus was $275. So yeah, you know, Mile High, that's my recommendations. If you're looking for an airbrush booth, quit looking. You will not be disappointed in this airbrush booth. Any of my subscribers are looking for an airbrush booth. If you have to not get paint supplies or model kits for a month or two, fork out the extra money and get you a high quality airbrush booth. That's all we got. Thank you all for watching. Got Fuels, Motor Car Garage.